Whether you're in college, starting your career, or you've been working for several years, it always makes sense to go over the basics of accepting a job offer. You've already invested significant time learning about your future employer. Now it's time to make sure you're getting a fair offer. HR will start this ball rolling. White-collar work usually involves either a little or a lot of wiggle room on salary, depending on the position. Blue-collar work, particularly unionized work, tends to have a posted salary and benefits. Let's discuss the white-collar environment. Depending on the laws of your state and the practices of the industry you'll want to work in, organizations generally issue offer letters to candidates they want to hire. These letters will outline such basics as title, starting salary, bonus, start date, high-level responsibilities, and a short summary on benefits, including details on stock options or commissions if they apply. You may also receive a confidentiality agreement with the offer letter, and the organization will ask you to sign both. Keep in mind, an offer letter is generally not an employment contract, but if you feel confused about anything you're signing, it's best to consult an employment lawyer for feedback. How much a company or nonprofit pays employees depends on a number of factors. The HR department keeps on top of competitive salaries for similar companies in their area. You should too. See what you can find out online or in conversations with people in that industry to get an idea of what similar jobs pay. Additionally, it's important to know that larger companies have predefined salary bands based on department, title, and level of responsibility. This helps them keep payroll costs under control. The offer letter represents the employer's best attempt at attracting you as an employee. Organizations usually don't try to lowball potential employees, but they also don't want to overpay someone. If you receive an offer from a potential employer and it has everything you want, you can accept it as is. However, don't be afraid to politely negotiate if it doesn't. That's what we'll talk about next. Certain jobs and certain economies prevent a lot of negotiation on job offers, but that's why it's important to do your homework during your job search about what proper pay and benefits are for the work you're seeking. Don't be afraid to ask the advice of people you trust who know the industry or legal experts who can inspect the offer letter and maybe suggest a few questions. This isn't something you'd necessarily do in a summer job situation, but it's definitely an action plan anytime you change jobs in your full-time career. The HR department is often involved in negotiating offers. They usually have some wiggle room with things like base salary and bonus, so don't be afraid to ask about reasonable adjustments. In some cases, you might have to give up a little in bonus in order to get a larger salary and vice versa. Remember that negotiations are about give and take, so be prepared. Some things are harder to negotiate. Vacation time and health insurance benefits, for instance, may be part of a standard policy for the whole organization, so exceptions would be impractical to manage. If the HR department can't meet your needs, they will have to involve the hiring manager, your future boss. If money and benefits are firm, you might consider negotiating for a job with more responsibility so you can meet your compensation goal. Obviously, you need to know you can do the work before you make this offer. By the way, you may have heard that it's better to look for work while you're employed, and that's usually true. It will give you time to be selective and can give you more leverage during a negotiation. If you're unemployed, you'll probably have to be a little more realistic, but that shouldn't prevent you from asking for compensation that's fair. Just be enthusiastic and appreciative of the offer, and make sure you do your homework before you ask. Put yourself in your potential employer's shoes as much as you can. One thing that's working in your favor is that hiring is an expensive process in terms of time and money. If an employer has gone through the extensive process we've described so far, they're not going to be that happy to go back to second or third candidates if they can help it. Make sure HR and your hiring officer know that you're there to meet their needs, and as long as you're friendly and reasonable, you'll likely get more movement on your offer. You've accepted the job, you've probably set your start date, but HR isn't done with you quite yet. It's become quite common for employers to conduct criminal background and credit checks and ask you to go to a lab for a drug screen. Simply, employers want spotless criminal and credit records that suggest employees will be honest. As for the drug screen, employers don't want intoxicated workers on the job. These last-minute checks will add at least another week before you are officially hired. And what if you fail any or all of these checks? Your future employer may choose to rescind the offer, and you probably will see language to this effect in your offer letter as a warning. That's why it's good advice to keep a clean criminal, credit, and drug record throughout your working life. Now you're ready to start your new job. Let's talk next about how HR will be part of your life while you're working inside an organization.